Hello and what's up? Hi, my name is Kathy. K-Walk Comedy is my channel's name, and that was just a name I came up with years ago when I used to do stand-up comedy, and I use that as the name of my production company. But in any case, thanks for tuning in and hanging out. And if you're watching it on the replay, thank you. I appreciate you. So, why? Why am I here? Because my channel, I realized I created it 11 years ago. And it's like, wow, 11 years ago, which is quite a long time. And I never did anything with it. It just kind of sat there, kind of stagnant. And the reason I created it was because during a presentation, the speaker had a ton of quotes that were playing with some music in the background. And it was just the perfect thing to have a scheduled 10-minute break and have these quotes playing so that when the quotes ended, okay, break's over, time to get back to the training. And I thought, oh, this is a great idea. And especially at the time, I was in a classroom. So it was perfect because if I had an assignment or something I wanted the kids to work on, this could kind of play in the background as they were doing a warm up or doing something. So it was probably the first video I ever made. And um, yeah, it just kind of sat there. I never did anything else with it. But I also look back on my channel and I didn't really start getting into it, just like a lot of folks till COVID hit and we were all stuck inside and had nothing to do. And I was watching a show, and I think it was called Zoe's Infinite Playlist or something like that. But anyway, it took me back to the 80s, back to when I was a DJ. And I thought, oh, wow, I should get on the internet and share some of my musical favorites, especially around movies, the music from the movies in the 80s. I'm sorry, I know some of it was cheesy. Xanadu, I love you for that. But I went online and started doing it. And my brother joined in with me. And before I knew it, we were kind of reliving our youth and creating our own kind of latchkey kid show, calling back to a time when we first got cable or, rushed home to see the Thriller video. And we called it Kathy and Kenny Explain Pop Culture. And we've been doing it ever since. So I've really been able to hone my live skills. So going live is not an issue. But I know with Kathy and Kenny Create Pop Culture, a lot of times I'm pulling all the levers from behind the scenes and yay, giving applause or, you know, giving some kind of sound effect or moving things around on the screen. And I'm not always as present. And we used to broadcast the show directly on my channel, but we decided to branch off and do our own channel because for that show, we're also recording it as a podcast and it is broadcast on Who's Got Next Radio that's available in certain markets. So that kind of had its own life. So even if you look like at my channel, you see there's a lot of Kathy and Kenny Explain Pop Culture. And even there was a time I was kind of again, the thing with the quotes. So whenever anybody needed quotes for meetings, I was the one doing them. So I would just throw them on my channel. Last year for Juneteenth, I created a bunch of shorts that we incorporated it into our Juneteenth celebration so that we're not just celebrating, but we were also kind of educating and telling people about Juneteenth. Because even though it was a federal holiday, here in Statesville, North Carolina, which is where I live, we have been celebrating Juneteenth for close to 30 years now. But in any case, you can kind of see where my channel kind of lived with a lot of the Kathy and Kenny Explain Pop Culture content, where we talked about everything from the DCU to the MCU to, I don't know, any kind of topic, whether it's Father's Day, Mother's Day, pop culture. Uh, 4th of July, we actually did a show about independence themed movies. So that's basically what my channel's been about. So, needless to say, nobody has found my channel, although I did have a subscriber today. So, I don't know whether it was the thumbnail or what, but thank you. I so appreciate you. So, in any case, I've been trying to figure out what to do with my actual channel as opposed to the Kathy and Kenny Explain Pop Culture channel. And I thought, you know what? I need a kick in the butt. So if I commit to going live for like 30 days, or actually in this case, since July has 31 days, I figure I would create content for 31 days because I know it won't always be possible to go live. In fact, later this week, I'm heading to Atlanta for the podcast summit. So it's going to be impossible to go live. Well, no, actually, it might be pretty possible to go live. But I figured I needed to kind of have a formula, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But one of the reasons I'm doing this challenge is to hopefully help me find my niche. Because I feel like I've done a lot of different things in my life from, like I said, being a wedding DJ back in the 80s, a stand up comic in the 90s, a corporate accountant when I first got out of college, and an educator for the last 22 years. So I have this wealth of experience and knowledge and things I'd love to share, but I just don't know the best way to share them or who can I best serve. Because again, to me, it is about helping people to each one teach one. And I kind of feel like I have some skills, I have some talents, I have a particular set of skills, but I want to share them, and I want to share them in a way that is authentic and that's useful. Because I think so much of the things I found on the internet, and especially since COVID and with YouTube, this wealth of information. If there's something I need to know now, I don't Google it. I kind of YouTube it, which I know it's owned by Google. Don't come at me in the comments. I'm not that dense. I do know that. But in any case, especially for someone like me who is a very visual learner, because I can hear things all day and it goes in one ear and out the other, but I need the visual. I need to see it. So, one of the things I'm hoping this next 31 days will do for me is provide me the opportunity to find my niche, to find out who I can serve, how I can serve, and what talents I can bring to the YouTube space. Because Lord knows it's cluttered. And you don't need to see another vlog. Although I have to tell you, I wanted to vlog. I tried it this weekend and I was all excited and I had this little time lapse thing with one of my action cameras. And I got home, watched the footage, and it was all the white balance was horrible and you couldn't see anything. And I was just like, no, I'm not going to let this defeat me. I'm just going to go live for the first one, and hopefully, if there's material I can repurpose, I'll repurpose. If not, I will create a short. And I had a whole thing about it. But one of the things I wanted to do with this channel, and I thought about this at the beginning of the year, and I started off strong, but then I kind of fizzled out, was to explore the wisdom of turning 60, because in about 70, 60 days or so, I'll be turning 60. I set a challenge for myself to run a half marathon. I know. It's kind of crazy. I've done it once before, but I realized that was in 2014, almost 10 years ago, and I was a good 70 pounds light. Well, not 70 pounds lighter, a good 50 pounds lighter, because I had lost over 100 pounds with bariatric surgery. I'm not going to claim to be some kind of exercise guru because I can't even get my goo to roo at all. But one of the ways I was able to lose weight after my bariatric surgery was through running, and I really enjoyed it. And I actually started at the beginning of the year. I even signed up for a race in Philadelphia, which is where I was born. So I figured, oh, there's some cool symmetry in that. And I signed up. I started training. I developed this horrible arthritis in my shoulder, and it kind of like reminded me of how old I am. But I'm not going to let it deter me. Even if I have to crawl, I'm still going to go to that race and get as far as I can get uh, with these 60-year-old bones. So that was one of the things I wanted to explore because I also feel, and for all of you who are turning 60 this year, and there are a lot of us, we are considered baby boomers. Actually, we're like the last year, 1964 is usually the last year for baby boomers. But if you look at some of the traits, we're more Gen X because we kind of came of age with MTV and all that that has to offer. So I don't know. I kind of feel like I'm on the cusp. And even when I do the show with my brother, because he's 2 years younger than me, so he's solid Gen X, but we can tend to clash. But again, I still think in these 60 years, I have learned some things. I have made a lot of mistakes. I have. I'm not. I'm gonna Phoebe Snow that shit. No regrets. But I just feel like there is information to share, things to learn, and hopefully it'll be something I can share with you. So thank you so much for being here. So the what, like how am I going to do this? I have no earthly idea, but I started kind of working on a plan. So I'm going to share that with you now. How do you do 31 days of creating content? So I actually went to the trusty Canva because you gotta love the Canva. I'm thankful for Canva because I can create all these graphics, and actually I'm very thankful for Ecamm because Ecamm Live is an excellent streaming platform, and if you are a Mac person, highly, highly recommend. Anyway, so I came up with this calendar, and my idea was, see, you know, you could tell I'm in education because I put it in a sleeve, so which is a step not too far, but just a hair short of laminating it. I did not laminate it, but I did think about it. But anyway, my whole idea is 31 days of content with the goal of not only finding my niche, but also trying to improve one thing with each upload. So whether it's streaming, and like today, I've been experimenting and uh, trying different layouts with Ecamm and different features, and making sure I put the Stream Deck to use. But let's bring the graphic back so you can see for the month of July. I figure I'm more comfortable with live, and a lot of people aren't, but I love me some live. So I'll go live. I am, unlike with Kathy and Kenny Explain Pop Culture, we were kind of streaming that to multi platforms, to Facebook. We were trying Instagram as well, and also YouTube, and even sending it to my YouTube feed, which is why when we looked at my YouTube page, it's like filled with like Kathy and Kenny Explain Pop Culture uh, takes. But for this, I just wanted to kind of explore some other sides of Ecamm and some other things that you can do in Ecamm. And who knows, maybe if enough people are tuning in and checking it out, we'll open it up to multiple guests, either through the interview mode or the Zoom mode, which is a new cool Ecamm feature I am dying to try. So come with me on this journey. And maybe if you're turning 60 this year too, all you 1964 babies, we can do it together and have some fun with it. But I figure, hey, if I go live, because that's what I'm most comfortable with, at least 2 times a week under this platform, I'm also kind of counting my Sundays because Sundays is when I stream with my brother, Kathy and Kenny Explain Pop Culture. And again, my goal is to create content for 31 days straight. And again, I know that some of the content will be lives, but then I figure if I did two lives a week, plus the pop culture show that I do with Kenny, and two shorts a week, and actually try to post two videos. So that's what, like, if you look at these little crazy symbols that I have, for Tuesdays and Thursdays, I wanted to post shorts, and then Wednesdays and Saturdays actually post a long form video. Now, I'm not crazy, and I know my editing skills probably leave a lot to be desired, especially if my vlogging fiasco this weekend is any evidence. So, those videos probably are not going to be these mammoth long sessions like I'm doing now with the live. It'll probably be a hit it and quit it 3 to 5 minute video. But again, it's for me to work on those skills, because in my mind the only way you get better is by doing. It's something they've been doing in education forever, learning by doing. So that's what I plan to do, learn by doing. And for the next 31 days, I just hope you hang out, come along with me, and learn on the journey as well. And I think this will be really fun, only because, again, I'm hoping to just try one new thing, and I'll be sharing those new things with you so that when I can go back, look at analytics and see, did 31 days of creating content have an impact on my channel? So we're kind of doing an experiment of sorts. So come with me. And for those 31 days, I will share one or two nuggets of my wisdom of being 60 years old. And I wanted to end with a chunk of wisdom, something I could give you. But being in that gap, that baby boomer Gen X gap, I ain't got a lot. Because I'm like, what have I learned in all these years? You know what I've learned? I've learned that you can actually tell the entire plot of a Brady Bunch episode just by the sound of those first three notes for the episode. Womp, 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 womp. I'm telling you, close your eyes and try it. Just try it. Trust me on that. If you're in my little group, my little 1960, I would say 1962 to 1967 group, we got that Brady but wah 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 wah, and you know the one with the little wah 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 with the little Hawaiian music. Oh, you know we're gonna see Vincent Price. Come on, somebody's got to know what I'm talking about, but maybe you don't. In any case, this is my attempt to challenge myself, and I'm excited about it because I think when you do things that are outside your comfort zone, you definitely dive into some new spaces. I know years ago when I lived in New York City, and when I first went to try comedy, and I worked with a coworker when I worked in a corporate office, and she used to call me Action Girl because she couldn't believe I would go on stage and do stand up comedy because I am the least funniest person I know. But I did it, and I did it with some success. I mean, I performed in places from Alaska to England. And again, that whole performing in England was, I was going there for a vacation. I decided to call up a comedy club and tell them that I was a New York comic, and they gave me stage time. Unfortunately, not all my jokes translated, even though they speak English, but evidently I wasn't speaking funny. But again, I have that experience. I can say, hey, I performed in London. Hey, who can do that? But in any case, I'm hoping you come along with me for this ride, for me finding my niche, finding how I can best serve. And even if you can let me know in the comments, uh, from some of the experiences that I briefly talked about, is there something I can help you with? Because my other thing too is that I I am a bit of a techie, but I'm not tech enough to make this a tech channel. I have no illusions, but I do love a good gadget. I mean, I love a good guy. You know what? The best section of any store is that as seen on TV section. And I tell you what, there's a store in the Philadelphia area called Boscov's. They literally have a room with all the as seen on TV stuff. And I'm attracted to it, like bees to nectar. I'm there for it. But and I figured this too. I have like about six different cameras between the Sony ZV-E10 that I'm streaming on, my ZV-1 that I carry around with me all the time, a couple action cameras. So even if my challenge for these 31 days is to, try shooting on the different cameras in different formats, maybe even vertical formats for the shorts. That might be one of my challenges. But each day I want to try to do one or two things that I've never tried before to just stretch myself, stretch my skills. So if you want to come along for this Stretch Armstrong adventure, by all means, welcome. Welcome to the fold. Subscribe, hit the notification bell. That way you hear all about this craziness I'm about to ensue, and I'm there for it. I think it'll be all right. It'll uh, we'll either learn something or we will fail trying, but you know what? We'll come out on the other side in a much better place. So look for a short tomorrow, a video, God willing, Wednesday, and I don't know how I'm pulling that off because that's the day I'm actually traveling to Podfest. So I guess I'm going to have to work on that tomorrow night, and also another live stream just to kind of get our feet wet, get through this first week, and create content. I'm Kathy. We're on the road to 60. We will see you in the next video. Uh, we're still in this video. I don't know how to turn the video off. That might be a problem. I I got the whole eCam thing in. I got stuff flying in and out, and I can't turn the video off.